Good evening, rockers. Vegas Rock Goddess here, Carol Nevin on the rocks. Total entertainment. Coming to you live from Las Vegas. And right now I have Escaped the Hive coming in. Michael Beck is there. I see a little picture. Are you there, Michael? I can't see you. We'll wait till he connects here. There you are.
There we go.
Hello.
I'm here with my bass player, Paul Williams.
Hi, Paul. How are you? Nice to meet you.
How are you? Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. It's Carol, correct?
Yes. Vegas Rock Goddess.
What's that?
Vegas Rock Goddess.
Vegas Rock Goddess. Nice.
Is that all one word spelled together?
Yes, all one word spelled together.
Okay, all right. Just making sure.
Well, great. You know, I was talking to Dave Tedder about you and your band, and he's like, you got to talk to these guys. I'm like, I'm so excited because you guys are out of Mesa.
We are,
right?
Yeah, Phoenix in general.
And yeah, I've interviewed a few bands out of Arizona. I don't know if you guys have heard of Sin Shift.
Sin Shift?
No, Sin Shift. Yeah. I saw them when they came out here. So they're amazing. They're an amazing Arizona band as well. Yeah, so let's go over kind of the history. I mean, I kind of did a bio on you, but why don't you tell us a little bit about your band and when you guys got started into the rock and roll scene?
Well, I guess it was a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Mid-pandemic, I guess.
Yeah, just after.
I think that's everybody.
Yeah, exactly. They were all cut up in it in one way or another.
Right.
But yeah, I actually, it was Paul that kind of started the whole thing. I'd known Paul for a while, and I just said, hey, let's write some stuff and see what happens. And that's really where it started. The rest of it kind of came pretty naturally. I mean, we needed a drummer, and AD was there. It's like he appeared out of the midst or something.
Wow.
So, and he's another one that I had wanted to work with for a long time. He was supposed to be involved in the last project that I was in, and it didn't happen. So I was really, really happy that he was able to get on this record. And then Mike, our keyboard player, was kind of the same thing. I actually found him through a friend of a friend. And Conrad was a little different, our guitar player, because I know him through, and this sounds like I'm totally dropping names here, but it's the truth. I know him through Alice Cooper. So
yeah, and it's funny because, you know, I do the same thing with these bands, you know, because I know a lot of people too. And it's not like I want to drop names, you know what I mean? But
right.
We're all connected.
Absolutely
in
true.
one way or another, either through mutual friends, musicians, bands. I mean, since pandemic, I think a lot of these bands, such as yourself, actually got to connect with people maybe you never have connected with before.
That God, if any good thing came out of it, maybe that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I don't have Alice on speed dial, but the fact that I even know him is saying it just sounds weird to me. So
yeah, Alice Cooper lives in Arizona, I know. And
he does.
Yeah. He has got such an amazing rock history. He knows a lot of people. I think I actually interviewed someone else that recently that actually knows Alice as well. So, hey, you know what? It's rock and roll, man.
He's that guy he's so down to earth because what are you going to tell him? What are you going to show him? He's just real laid back because he has no reason to be anything else.
Right, of course. And you guys have a great rock and roll sound. Now,
Oh,
do you
thank you.
guys, yeah, do you guys kind of base that on like the 70s, 80s kind of vibe?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's not like it was. I don't know if you'd say it was based on that. That's just kind of where we all live.
Right?
That's where we all cut teeth. Um, it, so I don't know if it was as much as just again kind of a natural thing. I don't think.
No, it was a direction. I mean, we wanted to stay sort of true to that 70s sound, big guitar, hooky melodies and good vocals and stuff like that. But we didn't want to modernize it
Right.
as a lot of bands do now.
Exactly.
Just like, hey, let's pay homage to a couple of our influences and see what comes out in the end.
Yeah, and then the drums all sound the same, and the guitars all sound the same, and we did not want it. So from that standpoint, absolutely, we did not want to approach it that way at all.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've been talking to a lot of these bands, and I hate categorizing any type of music. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, I think since pandemic, you know what I mean? I think people have stopped really doing that, because I know since pandemic, I mean, rock is making a comeback. Rock never went away, but I'm saying in 23, man, it's all in.
I'm all for that.
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean, I don't think that we're ever gonna wind up doing a track that sounds like Nine Inch Nails, but you never know.
That's not your flavor. You know what I mean? If you really, get down to the nitty gritty, I mean, rock and roll to me is for everyone. Okay. As the Kiss song says, but I mean, in 23, I have seen so many bands such as yourself hitting the road hard. Now, how are you guys doing with going out and playing out now?
Well, we just got back from the Whiskey in California. We did a show at the Mesa Music Festival, which is right down the street, so it's not like we traveled very far for that one. But then coming up here in June, we're doing some stuff around here. Then we're also going to Tucson, and then this summer we're doing a little trek through the Midwest. So we're definitely anxious to get out there. Just that little jaunt to the California and back to play the Whiskey was great because it felt like a road trip.
Right. And I mean, this is happening now because, the past 2 years, there was nothing.
Nothing.
All you had was Zoom.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Zoom shows.
Yep.
And that was it. There was very few bars open, and it was such high restrictions. I mean, if you came in there, you had to have a mask on. I mean, yeah. So
and that's where I was doing a tribute thing right before the pandemic hit, and then I was also I was in another band that had just put a release out, and it killed that because we all agreed that we didn't want to play via Zoom. So that band never got to go out live.
Right.
And then I just refused to sing to a bunch of people that were wearing a mask. I mean, it just seemed stupid to me. So
yeah, it kind of kills the vibe.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the Zoom shows are hard too.
Right. How can you see their facial expressions? They're like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy because when I was doing Keep Rock Alive, bands were breaking up like every week. Bands that I had booked, and I put a stop to the show and did a reboot last year.
There you go.
So this is what came of it, which I'm grateful and blessed for it. And I mean, the bands that I interviewed, they were like, I mean, they had 1 foot out the door and 1 foot in the gutter. Pretty much.
And I, like I said, I mean, I hate that all that happened, but I am so much happier to be where I am as opposed to where I was.
Right.
Yeah. And you kind of have to look at it that way, because I think a lot of this was a blessing to rock and roll, because it forced you not only to write,
yes,
to reevaluate your band, to figure out what we need to do when this opens up.
right.
You know, there were like albums like made, and they're sitting there waiting to go out.
Yeah.
You know, from that. So there's all great that came from this. Unfortunately, there was some bad stuff as well, but you know, we're all looking forward to 23 and seeing you guys play live. And you're going through the Midwest. I'm from Chicago. Are you guys gonna play
so
Chicago?
Paul.
Yeah,
Hi, Paul. Yeah. I'm from the Plainfield, Joliet area.
Oh, right. Yes, down south. I'm more northwest suburbs.
Right, which believe me, I know Chicago, Illinois. Like, what part in Chicago are you from north?
I grew up in Hoffman Estates, like the Schaumburg area.
Yeah, I worked right off of Rand Road there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm from Nebraska, and I have no freaking idea what you're talking about.
That's okay. Paul and I have a connection.
That's right.
But okay, so where are you guys playing in the Midwest? Let's talk about that.
Well, we're kind of just putting it together right now. We're playing.
Oh, okay.
But we have 3 shows booked. The first one is in Kearney, Nebraska, at this place called The Other Side, which is like a small town. Is it like 2 hours outside of Lincoln? So looking forward to that. And again, that's kind of my old haunt. That's where I moved to Phoenix from. So I haven't played there since I left, which was like the mid 90s. So I'm definitely looking forward to going back there.
The Midwest right now has a really strong rock and roll vibe.
It does. It does.
Right now. Because I mean, if you go to the East Coast, I'm not trying to categorize, but I'm saying from what I have talked to these bands, East Coast has got a real hard vibe going on right now. So, I mean, you're in the midst of a major shift in rock and roll, which is great. Your timing couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah, we planned all this that way.
It was perfect. Wrote it up that way.
Yay for us.
Yay!
Yeah, we've got the show Kearney. We've got one that's booked. That's on the 25th?
Yeah.
August 25th, August 26th in Lincoln at the Royal Grove, and August 27th at which I think is a fairly new club called Dream on the Green. So those are the first 3 that are booked. So
that's awesome, though. Very cool. Because see, with your band, you need to get out there and show everybody live.
Oh, yeah.
I totally agree.
Live music, let me tell you, was one thing that was really hard to come by a couple years ago. We all know that.
Yeah.
Well, and we again, I think we're a little different than even most of the bands that are doing like a 70s sound, because again, it's not modern 70s, it's 70s, 80s, it was kind of recorded that way as well. So, we don't do canned vocals, we don't do click tracks, we don't do, fake drums. All of the 3/4 part harmony is 3/4 part harmony. So it's that's another thing that has been really cool in this band, is to kind of take that part of it. Because a lot of bands that are doing the 70s stuff, and I'm not knocking any of them because I love most of them, but they're doing the Zeppelin style 70s, and I don't know if, I'm sure we have elements of that, but we're probably more on the Foreigner side of things than we are on the Zeppelin side of things.
I mean, Foreigner, we're talking classic rock. We're talking, I mean, you can't go wrong. And I mean, your band plays straight on. There is no click tracks. There aren't no, you know what I'm saying, drum backing vocals. I mean, that's what people want. They want straight ahead rock and roll. I mean, it's crazy, man, because I mean, I've seen headlining shows right here in Vegas with click tracks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm not going to mention the band because it was on a major tour with Poison. You'll know what I'm talking about. And that was
No idea.
that was the biggest joke I have ever seen. There were people actually walking out of the stadium when this particular band came on. I'm done with them.
I tried to do that in a band. I was in a Deep Purple tribute band before the pandemic, and we tried to do that one time because our keyboard player couldn't make an important show, and we tried a click track, and never again, never again.
Yeah, I mean,
it was so. I felt it's like a leash.
I know.
It was horrible.
I was like really surprised. I was waiting for them to come out, and all of a sudden I'm like, what? I'm like, I looked at this friend of mine that was with me. I'm like, bye.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't. I mean,
I like I said, we actually, when we first started kind of putting after the record was done, we kind of first started it, we talked about doing some backup vocal stuff. They got the pedals that'll give you the thing, and I mean, I actually used one for a while. I still use a pedal for effects,
right?
But I turned off all the harmony stuff because what we were doing was way better than what was in the box. So it felt good to shut that damn thing off.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, this is what people want. They want straight, live, in your face rock and roll. They're done with the click tracks. They're done with all that bullshit. And I can't believe that some bands are still freaking doing it.
Well, and I remember even back, I've been touring for a long time. We both have. But I remember back in the 90s touring with this band from Canada that was a national band, and they had this really cool record and all these woven harmonies that would kind of come throughout it, and when we toured with them, there was one mic on stage,
right?
And I really missed those harmonies, and it's something I never forgot, that you don't have to do everything that's on the record, but you got to at least do the important stuff,
right?
So we make sure that we hit all the bullet points as we're doing it, and everybody in the band sings, so it's an asset. And it would be, at least in my opinion, it would be dumb to leave an asset like that on the side of the stage.
Oh yeah, so. I mean, yeah. Now tell me a little bit about what you guys are recording right now.
Well, the record's done. It's not out yet. It'll be out this summer.
Okay.
It's called "This Is Gonna Sting." It'll be on Shock Records, Vanity Music Group. We're really anxious for it to come out. There's two kind of things that we've released already that have lyric videos, but the first full single, full video will be out probably within a month or so. It's a song called "Separate Lives." We did a video for it earlier in the year, and we're just have been sitting on it, waiting for the record to come out and get everything done, and we're very anxious.
I'm sure you are, and I know Dave was telling me about that. So I definitely want to hear when you guys are ready to release that record. I want you to get in touch with me so I can help the push for you.
Absolutely. Perfect. Yeah. Absolutely. The video turned out really cool. It's really cool. I remember that the videographer that put it together, it was weird. He gave us, he does a lot of modern rock type stuff.
Okay.
And that's not us. So he gave us this first cut, and it looked pretty modern. And we both, call him and went, "What is this?" And he goes, "Well, this is kind of what, like, do you see modern or hear modern in anything we're doing?"
Right.
He's like, "Well, it looks like an 80s, 70s
one."
Yeah. He's like, "Well, this looks like a 70s, 80s video." Cool. Print it.
So yeah, I mean, it's hard to get people on your same level, especially that guy, since he does all modern everything. You can't.
Right. Yeah, it wound up really cool. He did a great job. Um, and we're this place called Sound For You Entertainment did the video.
Right.
After that initial meeting, he really kicked it out of the park, and I can't wait for everybody to see it. It's a good song,
Great.
good video, came out great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Paul, let's talk to you. I want to hear all about your gear and what you're using.
Oh wow! All right. Well, I've been playing Spectre basses for a long time.
Okay.
I was pre-pandemic and pre-sale. I was endorsed by them. I'm not sure what happened with all that because they got sold to Korg. But no, it was great. So I use their basses. I have 3 different ones on the record. Currently playing, Ampeg 810 stuff, and then powered by the SWR 750. So it was just old school pre-Fender, just clean power, and I front it with a couple pedals that give it some balls and some grit.
Okay, that's cool. Now, let's talk to you. What about your guitars and stuff, and what are you like currently using as far as equipment?
Well, for a singer, all I got's a microphone. But
okay, but I know you play guitar too, though.
I do, but with the keyboard player and a guitar player in the band, and honestly, I play guitar like a singer.
Well, tell us about the mic you use then.
It's a Sennheiser 935. I actually bought it when my SM58 that I had for 20 something years got stolen out of my car.
Oh, geez.
But I love the mic. And then again, the drummer AD, he's endorsed by a drum company actually here in town called TJS Custom Drums that is awesome drums. He's got a nice big yellow double kick kit, and
awesome.
It's just where it should be. And Conrad,
he plays all Charvel stuff pretty much.
Yeah, Conrad does a lot of Charvel.
Old school 80s stuff.
Yeah, he's kind of a shredder boy.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Jackson, man.
He does that. He plays a Splon head, which is a great newer head, but he dials it in like it was an old Marshall. So it sounds great. It sounds great.
That's
and
awesome.
Then our keyboard player does a lot of Hammond stuff. So what was that new keyboard he just got? Was it a Hammond?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he just got another Hammond. So
very cool.
Yay, Mike.
Let's talk about your influences. Paul, what are your musical influences? Who do you like?
Well, I'd say when I first started playing, Appetite was right there. Appetite, the first Tesla record was great, but I grew up listening to Boston, Jim Croce. I have 3 older brothers, so it was all the Black Sabbath and Foreigner that one could stand. But Deep Purple, Zeppelin was huge. I just recently got into the Beatles, but I wouldn't say that they shaped my playing or my songwriting in any way. Right. But I listened to it. My parents had Elvis on a constant loop in my childhood, so you get, that's probably where I get a lot of the swing from. He's just always bouncing around. But yeah, storytellers, things like that. Charlie Daniels is my new kick. I just rediscovered that.
We were just talking.
Oh my God, Charlie Daniels. Because I grew up with Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings is definitely a storyteller as well.
Yeah, I play in a couple of country cover bands out here just on weekends, and so I know all that stuff too. So just playing it over and over again, you start to listen to the stories, and holy shit, these guys were really good.
Back then, there's so many rock and roll elements, like Merle Haggard. They all had that little rock and roll niche in there.
Right, yeah.
So
I'm starting to think Charlie Daniels started everything. I mean,
right.
God, you go back to 73, 74, and this guy's they got progressive drums on there. It's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, really crazy.
Song, Yeah.
Crazy. What about vocalists? Who do you like?
My favorite singer as far as what really shaped my vocals was Steve Walsh from Kansas. So
Oh my God,
that
I
was,
love Kansas.
yeah, just a great singer. Like Paul said, a great storyteller, great lyrics, great melodies, and a big David Lee Roth fan. So between those two is kind of where I've always lived.
Yeah, David Lee Roth's amazing frontman. But you know what? Steve Walsh, Audio Visions was one of my favorite records.
I wore that thing out. Just
Oh
literally.
my God. I went through so many cassettes of
Yeah.
that album. I mean, oh my God. I mean, every single song on that record kills, even to this day.
I totally agree. I'm a big vinyl collector.
Yeah.
So going back to Point of No Return and Left Overture, I mean, those are just great records.
I mean,
Great records.
oh my gosh, you know, and not enough people, enough musicians that I talk to bring up Kansas or Boston. Oh my God, Boston was the starter.
Oh man,
Yes.
without
Or,
question.
you know what I mean? Like Electric
Absolutely.
Light Orchestra.
Yeah.
Okay,
Same.
those are the kind of bands too that I listened to back then. If I mentioned ELO to somebody, like, what? I'm like, today they're not saying what, they're like, oh my God, I wish I would have listened to you.
Like, I don't like orchestra music.
Yeah,
I all that stuff is, and that's why we felt we needed a keyboard player, is because we
right.
definitely leaned more toward that, early Journey with Greg Raleigh type stuff, and
Yes.
Boston and Foreigner and the Babies, and
Oh,
our writing is way more in that direction than it is Deep Purple, although I love Deep Purple as well. So
yeah. Even I was talking to another musician yesterday about Leonard Skinner.
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
What a legacy that band has left.
Yeah.
Even
I mean, and again, you go back to those early records, Give Me Back My Bullets and
Yeah.
38 Special and
oh
your Saturday Night Special. It's
yeah.
just a great, and again, great storytelling songs.
Yeah. And I think I hate to say it, but I think that's what's missing right now in rock. Getting back to that story.
Hopefully we can fill just a little piece of the void.
When are you guys coming to Vegas? Let's talk about that.
I don't know. We've actually been talking about that with our manager, Dave.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get up there this summer for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I'm going to put some pressure on Dave Tedder.
Do. Absolutely.
No, Dave's a great friend. But we got to work on getting you guys out here. There's so many new clubs opening up.
Oh, nice.
Here. So yeah, I'm gonna keep in touch with Dave on that subject, and I'm gonna push him a little.
There you go.
Well, we're trying to fill in. I told you about those dates in the Midwest. We're trying to fill it in with some stuff in New Mexico, some stuff in Colorado. Moving over to Las Vegas would be perfect. So
that would be like
let's make that happen.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's for sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, Paul, let me ask you this: what was the first record you ever bought with your own money?
We just talked about this the other day. I bought Somewhere in Time by Iron Maiden with my first cassette.
That's a great record.
Yeah. It was like I just love the cover, and a friend of mine had been like, "Dude, if you haven't heard Iron Maiden, you got to check it out." So I got my first paycheck one day, and I was like, "I'm gonna go buy this tape." So
that's why you're a bass player.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Doomed from the start.
He's a big fan of Adrian, aren't you?
Adrian,
bass player for Iron Maiden.
Steve Harris.
Yeah, Steve Harris.
Yep.
Get him confused with another bass player named Adrian, another metal player, because they played very similar. Steve Harris is amazing.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
I got to actually see. I'm trying to figure out what tour it was. It wasn't Somewhere in Time. It was one of the tours. It was like the same year that Queensryche came out with Jet City Woman and all that stuff. They were on a tour together. But that was the first time I got to see Iron Maiden live. That's when they brought the Eddie out and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Honestly, I never got to see them live. I've seen all the VHS and DVDs that
Yeah.
made.
I got to see Iron Maiden live. Must have been 82,
Wow.
right? With on the Number of the Beast tour.
Oh.
With and Clive Burr was the drummer, was still with them, who I much prefer over Nico McBrain.
Yeah.
And the band that opened was Axe.
Oh my God. Talk about plunged back.
Exactly.
I remember Axe.
Oh yeah. Rock and roll
my
party in
gosh.
the streets.
I know. That's crazy. Wow. What was the first concert you went to?
Mine was the Monsters of Rock, where Metallica actually played at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
Wow.
So they opened up for Kingdom Come, and
Kingdom Come.
and then Scorpions, and then Van Hagar. I think closed the night.
Oh,
Yeah, 85. I think it was 80. Not Monsters of Rock 84 or something like that. I think.
I would have loved to seen Kingdom Come. Love that band.
Oh yeah, that was great.
God, yeah. I thought recently they made a comeback. I think somewhere I was reading.
They did. I haven't heard anything new, but I have 2 of their older records on vinyl and still listen to them.
They just came through Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a couple months back.
Wow.
I didn't get to go to that show because I was covering another show. But yeah, I heard the place was packed. So
Jason playing with Sammy with his Circle band.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Great. Yeah, Sammy and Michael Anthony.
It's funny you mentioned Van Hagar. God, I haven't heard that term in a long time. I've seen every single Van Halen tour. I'm a very rare individual. I saw the first tour and every tour after that.
You're a Gary Cherone fan then?
No. No, wait a second. I love Gary Cherone in Extreme.
Right.
Okay.
I actually like that Van Halen record too. There was no way that anybody on the planet was going to give it a chance. I actually like that record, but
it is a good record. But
right.
I got to see, because I was right over the stage. I was in first row balcony, like I was right in front of Cherone, and he was almost nervous to come out because he was running really late. And when he came out and he started singing, I'm like. I look at my friend, my best friend. I'm like, dude, really? I'm like, no way. This can't happen. I mean, that place was absolutely sold out. And I knew, in the back of my head that this was not going to last.
Yeah, and it didn't.
No. And then Sammy came along. So good thing for that, for sure.
Well, since Sammy turned it on its head and didn't have to compete with the raw sound because it didn't sound anything like it.
Right.
So,
right. And I think Sammy actually added his own flavor.
Oh, absolutely.
To Van Halen. I mean, Eddie didn't play any different. It
played
was
a lot more
keys.
Yeah.
A lot more keys.
I mean, Van Halen was kind of my band back in the day. I saw him on the Van Halen 2 tour, and then every tour up until Rock.
Okay, so yeah, you're one of the only individuals besides myself that I've met that has seen all the tours. I mean,
it was my second show.
Oh wow!
Van Halen with Talus opening.
Yeah, and I actually saw the Diver Down tour.
Oh,
I did too, twice.
I know that tour really was not talked about. It was.
I thought that was kind of their pinnacle. Because you could tell things. I saw the '84 tour as well, and there wasn't as much camaraderie on stage, but at least during Diver Down on stage, you could tell they were still having fun. I don't think in '84 they were having fun anymore.
But that's funny because when that record came out, personally, I thought it was a kiss of death. I saw it.
Really?
There's a couple of tracks on Diver Down though, like Full Bug is one of my favorite Van Halen songs.
Yeah.
There's some great tracks on there. There's, you know, Pretty Woman, I think could have been left off, but you know,
It did a lot for
Yeah.
him.
it did a lot for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's good and bad, but I saw the handwriting. I saw that tour, and I saw the handwriting on the wall, though.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad I got to see that show, because, like I said, it wasn't one of the best received albums.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those records, you know, people weren't really, grasping it, but they were going to see it live.
Right.
It's just one of those records.
It was still Van Halen. I mean,
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's revisit now. What are your current shows that people could go out and see?
the next one is in Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yeah, Phoenix
Northern
on
June 24th, I want to say. Can you verify it quickly?
yeah, June 23rd, 24th.
Okay.
At a place called a place here in Phoenix called Cactus Jacks.
Okay.
And then we are with two really good bands. One called Whiskey Dogs, and another one called Weapon of Pride, both very 70s sounding influence
Okay,
bands.
very
So
cool.
should be a great lineup. And then we are actually taking that whole lineup to Tucson the very
Okay.
next day and doing the show out there too. So
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, because I want fans to know where they can find you on YouTube as well, right?
you can find us on YouTube. If you go to our Facebook page, we have a link tree that's up that will, just what it says. It'll take you everywhere. It'll take you to the both lyric videos. It'll take you to the merch stuff. Please buy the merch.
A couple live videos from the whiskey. And
yeah, there's some live stuff up there. There's tickets to all the shows that the tickets are available for, which is all of them. They're slowly being added as we're talking. So, but all the tickets are all up there. And then you can also, and please do this, you can also pre-order the record.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll make sure people do that as well.
Yeah, we're really excited about this record. We worked really hard on it. We're super happy with how it came out and kind of what it represents. So I'm anxious to get it out there. And the nice thing is that the first two shows that we did, the Mesa Music Festival and at the Whiskey, were both shorter sets. So from this point, liner sets, and we're doing the record as a whole, plus a couple of surprises in there as well, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's awesome. It was great meeting you. I want to reconnect with you in the next month or so when that record comes out. So make sure
that would be great.
Dave gives me all the info.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Great.
It was great meeting you. I can't wait to see your band live.
I appreciate that. We hope to see you up in Vegas there soon.
Play for you up there.
Yeah, and I can do some videos for you, get some pictures. So
I'm
really looking forward to that. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the road.
All right.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Yeah.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, what a great band. Escape the Hive out of Mesa, Arizona. This band is going to be going and hitting it hard on the road. They're playing some dates in Arizona as well. And then they're going to be heading out to the Midwest. So that's pretty amazing. Looking forward to seeing that band live. Thanks for watching. I'm Carol Nevin, and you've been watching On the Rocks Total Entertainment, and I will see you next time.